I don't even know how to describe what we just watched, man. I thought Jimmy Butler did enough to do it. Somehow got behind the line for that foul, made all three free throws, and I thought we were heading to the NBA Finals. But Derrick White, with milliseconds left on the clock, saves the Celtics season. I'll just let y'all jump into it. It's a crazy game, crazy result. What are y'all thinking?
Yeah, that was a wild fourth quarter. It's still digesting what I just watched. That was crazy. Classic finish for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, the Jimmy. I mean, we talked about it while it happened, me and Mike. But the
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy flop and him being behind the 3 point line somehow with the way the camera angle was in real time, and even on the first couple of, I think maybe the first replay or the first couple of replays. I think they went to commercial and came
Mm-hmm.
back, and then we finally saw the video,
Yeah.
the video from the other way, and you could see his feet, and it was just like, oh damn, like what is? Like, yeah, there was crazy fourth quarter. My mind just went to there first of him getting both feet behind the line like so securely, and then knocking down all three free throws was crazy. Uh, the other guys, I guess, is something to point out. Just with Derrick White making the play at the end there, and just those the other guys coming through when the superstars meet. Yeah, superstars always gonna. It's a when you're in the conference finals or in the NBA finals. That's on the margins is where you need to win, and the other guys is where you went on the margins. And Derrick White making that hustle play at the end, just you see, I saw the credit to Tatum on the other end. Like credit Tatum's been doing, I feel like since the end of the Philly series, that he's going to crash the glass, and he was on the other. I think they were both like collectively putting pressure on the rim there. Like they had both sides of the rim covered, I guess, to wherever the ball was coming off. One of them was going to get a shot at a tip because they were both just making the smart basketball play, reacted very quickly, and yeah, hell of a play by Derrick White. I feel like as I saw it, it felt I didn't feel like 100% that he got it off in time, but I
Mm-hmm.
did feel pretty good and was kind of surprised at the reaction that it. Well, I guess it was I don't. Yeah, I guess it was more the broadcast because it took a while for Stan and was it Kevin? I think Stan and Kevin to catch on. Kevin getting a
Mm-hmm.
little older, man. Just felt a little bad for him. I feel like I was like he missed a great because he turned up like he turned up as soon as he saw that it went in. And got was like we're
Yeah.
going to game 7, but I feel like we missed. Like he should have just went all in. Like as soon as he's like it was just a matter
Yeah.
of 0.2 seconds, and just like I feel like he should have just went for it. Like even if you were wrong, you would have still been able to just keep the adrenaline up. But said it was like took like 2 minutes or like a minute for Stan Van to jump in and be like, I think the Celtics won the game. Well, my bad. Joe, you go ahead. I'm rambling for minutes there.
I don't know. Honestly, yeah, the comeback was crazy. Just the whole fourth. I
Mm-hmm.
knew I couldn't. I was about to stop watching because, yeah, I had some money on this, so I was just mad. But then I was like, something tells me something about to happen. The script, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
Miami didn't deserve to win the game to me,
Their
to be
stars
honest. So
definitely
like
didn't deserve it.
the fact that they even got it to that point was crazy. But as soon as I seen that they put on the 3 seconds and uh, yeah, they put on the 3 seconds. I didn't know if the Celtics they had a timeout, so I was that much time on the clock, and Jimmy having to make all three of the free throws.
Yeah, that was
That
the
was
wild part.
yeah, I wasn't comfortable just with the 1 point lead. Pretty much, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
some bullshit. Can a lot of 3 seconds is a lot of time in the half court. But yeah, I just feel like I don't know, one of easily because the Celtics. That's shit. Neither of these teams deserve this because the Celtics didn't play a great game either. Their stars didn't play
No.
great. Like it really just took Jimmy. Now I'm not even gonna say Bam. I hate watching Bam play, but
He was acid,
Jimmy.
man.
All it takes is Jimmy having a bro, go at least 10 for 25. He went 5 for 21. But make at least 10 shots and y'all would have won this game pretty easily. But
Yeah.
yeah, just had a trash game. Robert Williams, credit to Robert Williams to
He might be out
just
for the
yeah,
rest of
just
this one, which will be interesting
oh
because he got
oh
hurt
wait, did
in
he?
the third
Yeah,
quarter, like
yeah.
towards the end of the third, which is
Yeah.
ironically where Jimmy finally started to make a couple shots.
Yep.
He had made like two or three early on, like through three quarters, and then he finally put a couple more in the basket, made a couple
Yeah.
more once he was out. But yeah,
Went to
uh,
the line,
Free
got to the
shots.
line more.
Yeah, he got a lot of
But I
free
say,
throws.
yeah, this was hearing you talk about him. This is the other side of Jimmy and Bam. I guess this is like the as peak Jimmy and Bam as you can get, what this playoff run is, and then just like what the value is, why it's so cool, and the value in building a team around two guys like this who are like unselfish, both star level players, I guess, all NBA level players, or all league defenders, and like when you have two of those guys, I guess it's just you create the world where a Gabe Vincent can shine, where you can have undrafted players shining around, like kind of the rotation pieces that work better, and yeah, you feel like a deeper team even when injury hits you and stuff. But there's the other side of the coin with those two, I guess, watching, and the almost interesting to talk about both of these teams, I guess. Yeah, you said it felt like neither of these teams kind of deserve to win, and I feel like it's kind of the I think it just goes to the top of these teams. They're both so interesting. Or Jimmy and Bam, I can appreciate it so much, but I do think there's a little bit of clash of their flaws. Their flaws are a little too similar, like just not too much. And it's the same thing with Jalen and Jason, though, in a weird, bizarre way, where it's like, oh, what they're struggle with and what they're good at is way too similar for them to. Yeah, for the balance, I don't know, the coexistence. Boston, I'm starting to really, Boston's so interesting to me. That's a really good team, man. It's they're really weird, and I don't want to put it like Jalen, not trying to put it all on Jalen and Jason, but it just feels like they've really filled out this roster so well. I don't know how much better it can get than this, and I think it's why they can come back from 3-0 down, because they're that deep or that good of a team and have that many good players, but. Yeah, comes to the top two with both these teams. You know what I think Bam and Jimmy allow the Miami Heat to be, but also can they get them all the way there? And then with Jason and Jalen, it's like you got everything around you, man, really, that you could ask for. It's like, can you guys do this together? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I think both of you kind of pointed out, I feel like Jordan with the stars maybe not showing up, and then down kind of talking about how the supporting pieces are so necessary in this series. And it's funny how this one went, because Jimmy and Bam were the ones that kind of got carried throughout the game. I feel like by that supporting cast, right? Jimmy goes 5 for 21. Bam was shit, man. Bam went 4 for 16. I'm sure he did a lot of things because he's asked to
It
do a
just
lot of things,
does,
but
no,
just on
but he does a
offense.
lot of dumb shit
Yeah,
too.
no,
Like
there were some plays in
I
there, man.
just,
It's
I, I can't watch him play. It's
but yeah, I mean,
frustrating player to watch.
if you look at it, Gabe Vincent takes 18 shots. Cody Martin has 21. Cody Martin had 21 and 15. Cody Martin
Yeah,
is he just like
15,
Wait,
good, or is
21
this
and
the
what?
21 points and 15
15
rebounds?
Did I say it on the pod last time? Did I figure? Because I
Yeah, no,
was
you
telling
did.
y'all we
Yeah,
need to give him Calbridge. Okay, the Martin, we need to get the other one, or we need to steal him. Like Joe Lakers need to go give that man some money. He ain't been to the Heat that long to be like all in love with the Miami Heat yet. We need to find a way to get him some stock options or something. He needs to be a Warrior, and if he's not a Warrior, then the other one needs to be a Warrior, or both of them need to be Warriors. We need to fill out the roster. But anyway, that
yeah,
dude,
but I was gonna say
crazy.
on the Celtics side, Marcus had one of those days, had one of those Draymond days where I was gonna say the threes were falling, but then I look 4 for 11 is still, he took 11, which is always funny. Marcus Smart, but he made 4, and those were big
He was
fours.
like 3 for 5 at one point.
Yeah, and I
That's
was
the
about to
part
say
that
he
was
Yeah,
had like
bad. I
4 in
was
the
so
like
happy
first
for him.
2.5 quarters.
Yeah, he was like 3 for 5, 4 for 6. That's tough. That's tough.
But yeah, I'm interested to see where we go from here. What we're gonna get. The Robert Williams part is interesting because I think, like you were saying, Jordan, Robert Williams probably had one of his better games, like in the playoffs, actually, just because he's been in and out, like kind of rotations and shit. And if he's not gonna be around, it gets different. I don't know how it goes for Bam if he doesn't have to deal with that, or at least not the whole game type thing. So it's gonna be interesting to see where we go going forward. Any other thoughts? There's a lot to talk about with this game. So anything else anybody wants to jump on?
if Robert's out, then I said I was done taking the Heat. But yeah, if Robert's out. I feel like Jimmy gets it done. But it's gonna have to be Jimmy who gets it done. Like credit to the role players or to everybody stepping up. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't expect that 2 games in a row and it going into a game 7. So
You said the
yeah,
You said the point about Jimmy. Jimmy just if he just makes 10, and you probably even say if he just makes like 7
yeah,
of his 21
7.
shots.
Yeah,
But I think on the other, if Kyle Lowry just didn't like Kyle Lowry's had a couple of moments in this series, but if Kyle Lowry just didn't I won't say Kyle Lowry sucks, but he's kind of getting closer to that point. But like, if Kyle
He,
Lowry
yeah,
just could give them like even
He,
60%
playing
of what
hard.
they thought they would get from him, I think when they signed him, I think the
He playing
series
hard
is
out there.
over. But
I don't
yeah,
even know how he got 8 points. The one I was, he had to, he was when we had Jalen Brown on him. He had to work so hard for that bucket. I was like, oh
That was
man, that
hilarious.
just took everything out of him.
That was like 7 seconds back to the basket. Low key, he started posting up at like the base of the corner
Yeah,
three. I don't know what Jalen, man. I feel like people match up with Jalen, and then all of a sudden it just turns into not basketball. I don't know. It's like he has that effect too. Like he do some silly stuff, and then people do silly stuff against him too.
yeah, him and Kyle Lowry's a bad combination. To that point,
That is true.
what do y'all think Jalen Brown shot today? If you were to guess,
uh,
50%, 70%, bad
what
shooting
he
night, good shooting night. What do
he
y'all think?
probably he ended up wait he ended up 50, didn't he?
Yeah, he ended up 9 for 16.
Yeah,
I was surprised because he has
I'm
after the
16.
Lowry, like him and Lowry get into it, he turns the ball over like two straight possessions, and then like
Yep.
has some other shit that happens in that mix too. Doesn't hit a three, but he does have 26 points on 16 shots. That was the thing I was gonna say. That's what I forgot. My bad. Remember how like I feel like I don't know if I've talked to y'all about this, but the Spurs against the Heat and then the Lakers against the Cavs, those series are funny to me because it was two teams daring LeBron to be a jump shooter because they knew everything else he could do would destroy them,
Yeah,
and it works for like 5.5, 6-ish games, and then LeBron finally starts making jumpers because you're just letting a great player take wide open shots, and then they kind of lose the series off of that. Like 2016 and then 2013, those are kind of the two times you see it happen
yeah,
with LeBron.
yeah.
I feel like Jalen and Jason got like a master course or whatever and how to be a good playoff wing even if you can't figure out like how to be actually solid on offense or like get your shit going. And you just look at it like Jalen Brown 9 for 16 but 8 for 10 from the line. Jason Tatum goes 8 for 22 today. You want to guess free throws? How many
At
free throws
least
Tatum
10.
takes? At least
I mean,
10. Yes.
he made 10. He made at least 10. I'm
Yeah, he
pretty.
made and shot more than 10. Any guess?
This
Did
dude,
he end up getting
man,
13 or
15 for 15 from the
15,
line.
15?
Jason
15 for
Tatum
15.
tonight, 15 for 15
This
from the
is
Lions, up with 30 points on 22 shots, even though he had a bad shooting night. And I just wonder if they just saw Jimmy manipulate the NBA playoffs to the best like of the ability of a wing can do it outside of like attacking it as the LeBron heliocentric Luca, like I am the offense thing. It's like, oh, this is how you figure this out. You bullshit. You get to the fucking line and you make this shit work. Like I think you mentioned even Tatum's rebounds. Like Tatum just 12 rebounds. Brown with 10 rebounds tonight. They both have a double double with points and rebounds. They both end up having Jalen has more turnovers than assists, and Jason has 3 turnovers to 5 assists. But they both fucking got their rebounds and they both got to the free throw line and they won.
see, they know what their best is when it comes to the playmaking, when it comes to all of this stuff, and they give their best, and then now I guess they just like you said, the Jimmy part is they just trying to win on the margin. They just trying to do all the other. They just trying to do all the little things because yeah, it just I don't know. Yeah, they're such a weird duo. Dude, Jason Tatum is so interesting. I feel like I can't. He's so interesting because I feel like he never really got close to the, I guess the top three for me,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was at the time, whoever those three guys were. It never felt like Tatum was convinced me he was terribly close or anything,
That's one of
but
the
he just
first
keeps getting
arguments we had
better. I
on the
guess
pod,
that's the
actually.
thing. Yeah. Right. Just Tatum, what,
I
top
feel like
five?
we were
Or
all
like,
just. I
what?
feel like Misa was on too, but it was kind of me, Jordan, and Misa. Like, oh yeah, Tatum's just top 5 MVP candidate this year, and you were kind of the last holdout. But then it was funny, you were the last holdout, but then the Celtics season went to shit, so it kind of seemed like you were right. And then he's a hard person to judge. I don't know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I guess, yeah, for me, just like seeing him because the finals, just probably the last 2 or 3 playoff runs, but just and then this series of 3-0 being three down 3-0. All of these playoffs really has just been so weird, but he's figuring it out. Like I can't just like I think he just has all the I don't want to be like the mama mentality and the dog stuff. I think it's more just intangibles. Like I feel like I know what skill wise a player he is, and I know that he's never gonna be gifted in a way that Curry, Jokic, LeBron are. Like Curry, Jokic, and LeBron are. But like I don't know what he is because he does just do. I don't know. He does just. I think he is a smart basketball player overall, and I think he does a good job. He's in a good system, and I think they've taught him and shown him how to, like you were saying, just do all the little things that it takes to win in the moment and keep figuring it out. And I think, yeah, the last playoff run, getting to the finals, and then this playoff run here, almost getting back. I just see so much with. I'm so intrigued, I guess, by the next 2 to 4 years for Tatum for probably being like his true prime as a player and what he is at the best of his best because he has so much, I think, playoff reps now, and just he's just figuring out. I think just figuring out kind of who he is as a player, and he can get better when he figures out who he is as a player. But the flaws are the flaws. I think they're there. They're going to be there. And, yeah, he's interesting. He's interesting. If I'm saying much, but yeah.
I mean it's another big moment for him. He has a 50 points in the game, 51 in the game 7. He's had a lot. I don't know. It's weird. They're such an interesting team, right? I think somebody said Jalen and Jason, since they've been together, have only missed one conference finals. I think to this point, like they just had a lot of moments, and they got another one. And maybe this is the time where they. I don't know. I don't know if either of these teams is beating the Celtics. That's probably what I've learned the most over these. I kind of thought even after the Heat went up 3-0. Or not the Celtics, the Nuggets, but like I think the Nuggets are probably just winning the finals, and I feel like the last 2 games are probably just. I was like, yeah, I don't know if either of these teams is actually beating the Nuggets at the end of the day, but
that's where I flip. I think Jason's kind of. I have an undetermined level of high respect for Jason Tatum. I don't know what it is or where it is amongst all the great players, but I'm trying to figure it out. And I think if he gets to the final, if they get to the finals, him and like I said, team's just really good. I don't like the Brown Tatum connection, and I think the problem at that team with the team at the end of the day is going to be closing games out in the fourth quarter consistently, in the finals, in the conference finals, stuff like that, and have Jason Tatum and Brown playmaking or ball handling come into question in the biggest moments. It's just a really good team. It's a really good team. Like I could just see them giving the Denver Nuggets problem, and they got like if they win 4 games in a row. I mean that's the kind of moment. That's great momentum in the playoffs, I guess, especially coming into a team with that much rest. But yeah, I don't know. I think Celtics. I think the Nuggets run the Heat off the floor, but I think before I kind of was leaning towards just the Nuggets being able to beat the Celtics in 5 or 6, maybe even 4. But now I think that's a little bit more of a toss up for me. I think Boston's just completely out. I don't know, not completely out of, but I just feel like once we get there, we're kind of away from that second round, whatever the hell that was. This just takes it. I think this
been every round.
No, okay, this round I feel like specifically yeah, you're right. I don't know. They're weird.
No, I see your point. Like if they get out of this and they
go down in Denver, they could go down to Denver 2-0 pretty quick, and like
they're gonna be confident
because altitude, whatever it is, going, and then I mean, just like not being able to make the game close and whatever, they get hit first. But there's Phoenix won game 3, right?
Yeah, Phoenix won game 3 and game 4.
They won game 4 too. Oh damn, they put it to 6. They won 6. Yeah. I feel like Boston can do that. I feel like going down 0-2 is their style. At this point, going down 0-3 is their style. I mean, like just feeling unpredictable is their style. I feel like they go down 3-1, maybe push to 6. Man. But yeah, I can't count them out. I guess overall, I feel like that series could just end up being like with the way this Boston team is. They're weird, man. I know a lot. I know a lot. I know everything I need to know, or most of everything I need to know in 30 days about the Boston Celtics. It just feels more confusing than ever right now.
Yeah, it'll be a couple weeks. Jordan. All right, Jordan. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Spread is Celtics -2.5. Money line is Heat +116. Celtics -136. Are you done? Are you done with this series?
They're taking the Heat
plus 116.
And it hurts me to say yes, I'm still taking them because
like
you know why? Jason Tatum doesn't have the mama mentality, and you see that all of them look scared in the last 3 seconds after Jimmy did that.
The fact that
he's scared going for rebounds. That's the central part of winning championships. Bill Russell got rebounds. That's what Jason Tatum is kicked in. He kicked in 2 rounds ago. I feel like he kicked in or last round. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna play hard. When the ball go up, I'm trying to get a possession. I'm trying to get another possession. Yeah. I think that's just he's consistently in that mentality. I feel like over game stretches now, which is I feel like he's gonna probably be playing. He's gonna give us a good game. He's playing solid games. No matter where he shoots, no matter how he shoots from the field, he gives you a good value game. But yeah, no, I don't. My mentality thing, I don't know. Bill Russell mentality. He got 1-2% kicking in
You
right
know
now.
who doesn't? This nigga Bam
Yeah, like,
Adebayo has
yeah.
0 fouls. How does that happen?
Wait, he didn't have a
This nigga,
foul in this
he
game?
didn't have a foul.
What?
Man might be the most confusing player in this series.
He
And not
didn't.
even really know who this dude is, man.
Wrong. Is that a PF? That's personal foul, right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
Jalen Brown. Yeah.
What? How?
Kind of impressive.
How much points did they give up?
But you know that much, did they?
104. Yeah, I guess, man. That's great for you. I don't know, man. I think just because they got killed on the glass. It's funny how much this game ended up being about the offensive rebounding. Like, if you actually look at it, the Miami Heat take 93 shots, the Boston Celtics take 78. And I think the
Mm.
free throws are, might have just been free throws. Let me look. No, 30 to 34. So, yeah, just have
No, I
a
was gonna
big
say they both
advantage
got to
of,
the line a lot.
yeah,
I
so
mean, the stars.
yeah, exactly. So Miami just big advantage on the offensive glass. The only reason they're really staying in the game, right? Like there's a lot of moments for offensive rebound three. Like that's how there's like the Heat are hilarious because like there's so many teams. Really, I feel like maybe every team in the NBA like just breaks at some point in the first 3 quarters of this game and just like it gets to 17, gets to 18. It's just anytime it got to double digits, it got back to like 4 within the next like 2 minutes type thing, just because of the offensive rebound thing like that. But the last 2 minutes comes down to the Heat started giving up too many offensive rebounds. Like the Celtics kept possessions alive. Like even the Jalen Brown had won a few possessions before that kept the possession alive. And obviously, like they win the game on the offensive rebound. And to your point, Jason Tatum was right behind. If you look at the picture or if you look at the last
Yep.
play, Jason Tatum was right behind Derrick White trying to get that put back. So it's funny. It was funny how much this game. I mean, it's funny because it's a Pat Riley managed team or a generally managed team. And Pat Riley's the one, rebounds wins championships. And this, you could argue this game came down to the rebounds. The reason it was close was offensive rebounds. The reason we're going to a game 7 is an offensive rebound. So,
Mm.
and
Mm.
Bam went to box out Jalen Brown at the elbow for kind of no reason. If you look at the replay, like, he could have just crashed the offensive glass, but he kind of throws a body on, checks Jason. I felt bad because like that's just basketball reaction. Like a shot goes up, check the guy at the elbow, and then go get the ball, and he just does that. But it's just there's not that much time left. You don't need to
Too
check
damn
the
big
guy.
to be doing
Yeah,
that shit. Go grab the
yeah,
ball.
yeah.
How tall is he?
He's like
He
six
like
nine.
6'9"
Had
on
Is
a
he
good
listed?
day.
I
let's
was
see
about to
what
say
he
because he look
listed.
about six.
He is a
Look about six
okay.
seven, 6'8" out there. This nigga got tools by Al Horford. That's when I knew it was bad.
Oh, that was
Oh
bad.
my
That was
god.
bad. Because he tried. That's when
Good
I felt
check.
like I know it, man, where I can't even get mad at dude. Because when I looked at it, I was like, good job, man. Like, I ain't never seen you go up that hard. Like, I don't see you do that. Try that all the time. There's not always going to
Yeah,
be a
that's the shit.
38-year-old
Oh
Al
yeah.
Horford in your way. Maybe next time it'll
Try it.
be a.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit. He takes too much jump shots for it, but he did try to start getting like, just the baby hooks, just something going around the rim. And it's like, oh man, it's just
He take
you got
them
a
close
bad
shots.
2K bill.
I was gonna say the close shots on 2K they like to take. He the only player in the NBA that it look like he really pull him up 1 foot inside the free throw line, but like with his norm, like he's at the 3 point line though, like he pulling up, like it's just like
Mm-hmm.
man, bro, it's you right at the basket, dude. Like I don't know what to tell you.
He
Even
puts as
like
much energy into his mid ranges as Draymond puts into his threes.
uh, man, I don't think about the Warriors. Whew.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Oh,
Not the
I'm just like,
time.
what? Oh, it's almost time. Bron's coming.
Oh, is it
Walking
happening?
around town.
I know it's gonna be a
I'm
wild
just saying it
summer.
every day.
I didn't realize
Golden State
LeBron.
Soldiers.
Oh yeah, no, Oakland Soldiers. LeBron James finally time. He's hitting all the spots he's been before. This is the last one. You know, Brock
mm.
needs to bring the Bay a ring.
Why did he do the retirement shit? Like,
Yeah, I
why
don't
did he say that?
understand. Like, why? Just
Yeah, I don't get why people are actually talking about it. This nigga just be doing shit.
it's
I
funny. I
think
feel like that was his way. You know how he came out with the cast after the one series. I feel like that was his
Yeah.
version of like. Just so y'all know, I was so hurt that I'm thinking about retiring. I mean, I'm not, but I'm thinking about retiring because that's how hurt I played this year.
Yeah.
in the moment he was. In the moment he looking at that foot like
It took less than 24 hours before the reports were changing. It's kind of
47
funny.
minutes. This is how I go out.
Trying to make AD feel jealous or feel like a failure. Feel like he didn't do enough.
What are you talking about? Oh,
Any
Bam.
other?
Well, I had one more thing to say
Yeah.
about Bam. I can't remember. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. He came up and he got drafted when we were kids, like not 90s. Like he got drafted in I guess the early 2000s with Darius Miles and all that. He got drafted then. He'd be a small forward. I feel like he probably just. I think when I look at him, I just feel like they would have just said like, "Oh yeah, he's about right like an inch taller than Darius Miles. Got just enough handle." I feel like from day one he would have been just one of the athletic wings. I'm not saying I don't know what he would have been. He's just an interesting player to me. He's interesting to really plot in each era because I feel like it's just position and everything. I think he works in any era because I think he's good at just the most essential basic things that are necessary to win basketball games. He's good at defense. He's good at passing. He's a good rebounder. He's not a great rebounder. I think he's good at a lot of things, not great at anything. But I think he fits in any era.
He's a great anchor on defense.
So yeah, yep. And I would say it was saying what that is. I guess in a different era, maybe is playing is more back to the back. So big man, but maybe let's say maybe he's more like Dennis because he's coming off the bench for Detroit as like a 6 man of the year because he's just solely going out there to rebound and defend from like the small forward position. So he's a double down guy, or he gets to roam and everything's played in the paint. So he gets to roam in the paint on other great big men. Anyway, I don't know. Bam's an interesting player. I feel like he might be one of the guys where I think if you plot him in the other era, he might look a little cooler as opposed to this era where I feel like it's just a little like I don't know. I feel like he's just the center thing is weird for me with him. I feel like he's been in Miami for so long playing the 5. I don't know. Like it's kind of like or playing like I can see him playing the 4 today, like in this era. Like there's just not a lot of.
I feel
like playing the 4 next to Al Horford, but
I feel like this era. I feel like this era is the one that allowed because I just feel like it's a Tyson Chandler cautionary tale if it goes the way you're kind of saying, and he's not 7'1", so somebody's like, why are we trying to play him on the perimeter?
I think he has legit handle though.
No, he does, but he's not.
I think the 2000s
he's not that good at anything but the rim. No, he's good. He's good at a lot of stuff. The rim protection and the being a hub on the elbow or wherever area is like what he's like. Two things he's really good at. He needed pace and space to really like unlock. He needed the spatial of anybody to know that like. Even though he doesn't look like the 7-foot brute, like he can be my starting center. Like I don't know if because he's just like he's cool at those things, but like I think just the jump shot, he's not like he's not even like a good mid range. Like could you see him catching it and hitting the fadeaway? Like anytime Bam takes a fadeaway off the block from like 15, I don't know.
I guess my mind's just going to probably just the most recent I've watched is probably like a couple of 2001, 2002 playoff games of the Sixers and like the Raptors and like just seeing after who's the 4th best offensive player on each of these teams and like Bam's I feel like skill level even plop it in then I guess for the player he is now I guess you plop it in then it's just I don't think it's anything astonishing and I think it kind of probably for the air, like Eric thinks he shoots like 42% from the field, maybe. I just think it's a different game, so it's a different level. I just don't think it looks different impact and stuff like that. But I think we're just living the most era where your offensive flaws are in a game full of offense. I guess flawed offensive players stand out more. I guess especially when you get to come playoff time. I guess is that interesting about this era? And there's so much picking on and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess I feel like just kind of the early 2000s, even the 90s kind of thing. I feel like there's you go through find a lot of 2-3s or 4s who have defensive value or like other value that they can't. It was before the game expanded with space and shooting. I think there was it was so. I guess it's so different to imagine. I guess a guy like Bam just being able to. Those. I feel like you look at kind of fitting on just a Pat Riley's Knicks team as. Like not the brute force, but I think skill level wise, being able to do a lot of what they asked of the small forward position. It's like we wanted to have a big front line. We want to have defenders up across the board, or two bigger defenders next to Patrick Ewing, but we need these guys to be able to pass well enough on the offensive end, and like to make the space and work of the air. But I don't know. Think he kind of just fit. Think he kind of in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, like any era, he's just interesting. But I think he looks different. Like, I think he just as a player just looks really different in any era than he does in this one as a center. Which I feel like he maybe it goes to another place. He may never play. Like I feel like he goes to a different team and maybe they never play much or not play center as much or play center secondarily. If he wasn't in Miami or just different situation.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I feel like his game opened up when they stopped trying to do that. When he started playing at the position. So I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah, I see where you're
yeah,
coming from. Yeah, old air. I think that's the thing. Just what Miami and New York and some of those East Coast teams look like in the
yeah,
or Eastern Conference teams look like in the late '90s. It's interesting because, like you said, he kind of fits in the mold, and he's probably better than
yeah.
a lot of the people in the mold. I guess
I don't know
I
better.
feel
He's
like
just
there's a
interesting. I feel like I
no,
don't even know how
that's
to
the thing. I would say
compare. Like,
I'm
yeah,
not saying he's even better than he is now, but like he's
yeah,
better at that than maybe some of the guys the Knicks were throwing out in that, or some of those teams were putting out in those spots. Like
yeah,
just a little more versatile and skilled offensively, which is a product of the time, but still. So it's interesting
yeah,
to think about that.
yeah,
But I think it's just game evolved. So obviously, you put most people in how it exists today. It's the most maximized they can be. But I kind of see what you're saying. That there's an interesting look of a
yeah.
player. It'd be
I
interesting to
mean,
see what
Max,
that looks like.
he's probably the best thing for him is playing with a top seven, one of the top 6 or 7 players today. That's what I would want to see him play. Which hey, Jimmy put up a little fight this playoffs, but I feel like maybe you got to push it up to like the top 5. But what does Ben look like next as the number 2? If he's the number 2 next to the one top 5 players in the league. Because if not, maybe he needs to be the number 3 or feel closer to that. But yeah, or Miami, that is they built him up. They got trying to get the most out of him.
Yeah. Any predictions going into Game 7? What are we thinking, or any other thoughts on tonight's game?
You had who you had Miami, Jordan? I think I'm going
Yep.
Bucks.
I'm not full. I'm not turning. I'm
After
sticking with
talking
it.
about Bam, I think I gotta go Bucks.
I
He
believe
gonna have a
Jimmy
good
has
game.
one more Jimmy, one
He
more
look kind of
Jimmy
he look a
night.
little
Yeah,
he look
I
a little
know.
tired tonight.
That's what I was gonna ask. Did he just hit the wall, and just the game every other night is just a little too much, and he ain't got nothing left in the tank? Is that where we're at?
He
Yeah, he looked rough tonight. Yeah. Everything,
can pull something out.
I don't know.
But to
Everything
his
was
credit,
pretty
I mean,
short too.
Vincent looks
Legs,
solid enough,
just
and
yeah. Nah,
and
Martin, Vince, I don't know.
let's
There,
Yeah,
see, that's
Vincent looked fine for coming for like obviously coming early from injury, but yeah, I mean Martin's the only person that had a good shooting night on the team, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I feel like if Boston hadn't been Boston these whole playoffs and they just seem to not want to win home games, that's the only thing where it just would be hilarious. It seems like if there's a script writer, the script writers they push it 7 and then they lose to Jimmy because Jimmy like drops 50 or something. But I don't know, man. The way it's been trending, they're the better team. I think that was the funny part about the 3-0. It's probably why a lot of people even thought like Miami needs to just win Game 4 and not play with this shit because like from the beginning it was obvious that the Celtics were the better team. I mean, the Heat were still doing that shit like these are close basketball games that they're just winning at the end. And if you look at it, they shouldn't have been close because again, the Celtics are just a better team. But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
but yeah, it's in Game 7. Should feel like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna be a
always the
good
fun
one.
part about Game 7s. They're unpredictable. This
Mm.
is this is the third Game 7 these playoffs, right?
What was the other ones?
Warriors, Kings, Celtics, Sixers.
Sixers. Sixers.
Yeah. So we'll see. Jason Tatum dropped 51. Be interesting. It'd be funny if we get 3 50-point Game 7s in this playoffs. Like we get Steph gets the 50, Tatum gets the 51, then either Tatum or Jimmy gets like 52 or 53.
Get Tatum and Jimmy. My boy Caleb Martin need to be the number 1 option. He's about to give him 47. Watch. He ready. He
Who?
got he got
Caleb Martin.
he got 25 in him at least.
Mm,
Yeah, Martin.
yeah. Uh,
I mean, he averaged like
yeah.
24 game for the series.